All right, well, we'll get started. Welcome, everybody, to our Parks and Recreation meeting. Call to order at 5 o'clock. I'm Terry Laxier, the chairperson. For those of you who don't know me, our committee consists of Matthew Hickey, who is our youth representative, and also Brandon Stentenbens and Kyle Edson, along with our liaison from Planning Commission, Denise Wood, and of course, Mayor Kerr and City Manager John Gurton. So our business tonight was to talk about a movie night that we are doing at the end of September, beginning of October, but the person that is in charge of that is not here at the moment. So we publicly announced that we would be doing the presentation at 5:30. So I'm not sure, Mayor Kerr, what do you think? How do you feel about how we should handle this at this moment?
I would, well, John, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I would say that I'm sure that there's some items that we can discuss as a group getting ready for the movie night, because we can't actually start with the Tansy folks until 5:30 to give everybody a chance to log in to hear it.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, so. Whatever everyone else has been working on for movie night. Has anybody gotten the movie, a screen, that kind of stuff?
We were waiting on Kyle.
Kyle's doing all of that. Okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe we recess for 5 minutes and we'll see if we can get a hold of Kyle.
Okay. Or Mayor Kerr, could you talk about, you're going to be doing a in the park game night?
Yeah.
Is that on Monday?
Yes, on the 12th and the 19th at 5:30, just to come together and play some games. And the evenings are so beautiful, and the parks just keep getting better and better. So come down and say hi.
Great. Thank you. Denise, do you have anything new since we met last month?
No, sorry, nothing.
Okay. And Matthew, anything new you want to share about Parks and Rec since last month? I didn't hear you, Matthew. Okay. Well, I guess everybody can take a little break. Maybe, let's see, we'll do 5.
Lee is getting Kyle's voicemail. She's calling him and it's going
Okay.
straight to voicemail.
I have two.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's not answering. That may just simply mean he's on his way home.
Okay. All right. So why don't we take a break till 5:15?
Okay.
Okay.
No, he's on.
Oh, he is. Oh, there he is.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Hey, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Oh, sorry for being late. I had
That's okay.
a work meeting that would not end.
That's more than fine. Well, to put you on the spot, we're already at the movie night portion.
Yeah.
What do you have for us? What are the updates?
I haven't done anything with respect to sorting out any additional logistics. The last we talked, we thought the city might be able to snag a screen situation. I think, Denise, did you say you had audio equipment that we might be able to? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. I thought I had a player, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So didn't we have someone else mention? I hadn't tried to like sort out where we could get audio equipment, but
Jerry has some that he would be happy to donate.
Yeah, that's right. I do have audio, but I don't have the video.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Plenty of that stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, then I think other than then buying the actual screen and figuring out like what day works for a few of the tech savvier of us to get together and try to set it up, make sure it plays, make sure the audio works and stuff before we have a crowd waiting for it to start. That would be ideal. But so John, I don't know how that process works. If there's anything I can do to make that easier for you, just let me know. But I haven't done any, done anything other than share the link and look at what you were talking about on Amazon. So am I missing anything? Is there anything else that we discussed that needs to be dialed in before? I figured like this month was kind of the time to make sure we have all the supplies we need and do a test run as soon as we have everything in our hands.
Okay, we need to purchase the screen,
Yeah.
which we have our budget, correct, John, that we can purchase the screen with?
Yeah, I thought maybe somebody had a connection that was gonna get a donated one, but if we're gonna purchase one, then yeah, maybe in the next day or two, Kyle, if you have time, let's get together and talk about what's gonna work best, and then we'll get that purchased.
Sure.
Okay. And then it'd be nice if we could put out some flyers, and I'm happy to, since Kyle, you did the other one, I'm happy to get together a flyer after
Sure.
we know for sure that this is going to fly.
It's actually going to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to do the flyer because it may be that getting the video and audio stuff set up and make sure, you mean it's going to work, meaning like technology wise, or just that
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next week after you meet with John, then let me know and I'll get the flyer done right away, and then we'll get it posted.
Sure.
Okay.
Could you just make sure you make a reference to a flashlight? We don't have a lot of activities at night, and watching a movie, it's going to be dark, and so we're encouraging people to walk home.
Got
So
it.
I just want to make sure that they're safe.
Got it. And chairs.
Yeah, and blankets
And
or
blankets.
whatever. We'll figure all that out.
Okay. Hi, Brandon. Okay. All right, Kyle, is there anything else from since last month that you want to share?
No, I don't think so. I'll check in with John and we'll get the screen dialed in, and then we can figure out what else we need and try to. I'll send an email to the group if there's anything I can't seem to sort out.
Okay.
And so would you suggest a time for the folks to get together for the audio and the technology overview down there?
Sure.
Because we're not going to have another meeting before this happens.
Mhm.
So, and we have a little time. So let's hammer out these
Yeah,
details. Let's do it.
And what time did we actually decide for the movie to start?
Dare I say dusk?
That's
Yeah.
very vague.
Yeah, we have to like Google when sunset is. I don't think it wasn't in your email, Mayor, was it? You
No.
were talking about the date, yeah.
Are you checking, Kyle, to see?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Brandon, we were talking about audio, and did you happen to have a chance to talk to your brother about his set? You said
The projector and the
Yeah.
speaker.
yes.
Yeah, I don't see it being a problem. Yeah.
So Kyle, would that be helpful for you?
Yeah, definitely. The projector was another
Yeah.
piece we had. So yeah, if we can use that, like Brandon, are you able to like get your hands on that thing like this week or next week?
Oh
Or
yeah,
that-
it's right next to me, right next door. Yeah, how are we gonna play it? Do we have a flash drive, or because usually with that we'll hook it up to like a Chromecast and then stream it through the internet.
Yeah. I have is there Wi-Fi access if we're that close to City Hall?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Sean, Curtin?
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to test that. I would doubt it.
Yeah.
I can look into like if a flash drive will work on it, like a 16 gigabyte one, and then see if,
Yeah, that would be great if we could do that. If that's easy enough to just, you can buy it, you know, for a few dollars on Amazon, the movie, and just save it to a flash drive, then we're set. Because ideally, we would know that everything's working,
yeah,
you know, by the end of next week, probably, yeah.
it's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew or if it's just coming up on my computer, but there's something about a 30th anniversary.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We had good intuition.
So sunsets at 6:50 that day.
Thank you, Denise.
perfect. So 7 seems like, would it be dark enough? It'd still be twilight for another 30 minutes or so, but
Right.
I think if we said 7 and then, you know, that way everybody's starting to gather.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so as far as testing everything, like I guess I think we don't actually need, I don't know if we need the screen like up and running inflated. We could have it ordered. It's really just, can we get the computer to play the video and the audio and the projector projecting on a wall somewhere even. So can we do that early next week potentially, Brandon? Is that possible?
Oh, yeah. I was even thinking too, like, if we can download it to a laptop and then connect a laptop, but yeah, I can figure that out.
Okay. Why don't you and I just coordinate? I can just email you after this and figure out what day works for both of our schedules, because I can do it this weekend too in the evenings if it's easier than doing it on a weeknight or whatever. So I think it'd be, yeah, just you and I
Yeah.
try to troubleshoot it if we run into snags. I think that should work.
Okay.
You might want to just let city manager Gerton know, like when you're down there and testing, you know, in case you need an extension cord or, you know, you plug into something and City Hall pops or something.
Sure. Sure. I was thinking that we
Just
would
let
don't
him
even
know that you're down
necessarily
there
need to be
playing.
on site for it. I don't think, like, we could test it. It's just making sure that the connections all work and the projector's actually showing a movie. We could do that in like my living room or your place, and then we just need an extension cord for the day of.
Yeah.
Would you rather us do it on site and make sure all
Totally up to you.
okay.
Yeah, just for reference, we use the projector like weekly, so
Oh, well,
I
good.
used it on Sunday night, so.
Oh, good. Then
Yeah,
shouldn't be any
works
issues.
well.
We'll let you all know when it's rolling and working smoothly.
Thank
So,
you.
hey, Brandon, what do you use for a screen?
Like one of those projector screens you see in schools. We bought one on Amazon and then we put
Oh,
some like hooks in the wall outside and then we hang it. It comes out pretty clean.
oh, how big is it?
The screen,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, probably 100 inches, maybe.
Is that, is that big enough for us and could we borrow it?
I mean, the thing would be how to get it hung, that sort of thing. But because it doesn't have like a stand or a base or anything like that.
Huh.
So they're hooked onto the wall directly at your house.
We hooked it directly into the wall, into the outside wall.
Yeah, we don't have any walls.
Well, no, but we have a fence
Yeah.
on the other side of the bocce courts. This the fence between the dog park and the bocce courts.
Mhm.
Would that work?
Or does it need something solid behind it?
I mean, it's this, it's a little thinner than cardboard. So I don't know, the weight of the anchor keeps it flat and down, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, it'd probably work. I don't know. I'd have to imagine where it'd be. Yeah, I can send a photo to the email and show you like a demo of what it looks like when we have it set up in the backyard.
Okay,
Huh.
that'd be
That'd be
great.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
because
then-
I don't know how many people we're expecting and
Yeah.
how much screen we need.
Hopefully a lot.
What size was the screen you're looking for online or?
I don't think it was bigger than 100 inches. I thought it was.
It was was it
8 feet
20
by-
feet? 20
Oh,
feet?
nothing.
That
20
wasn't that
feet?
big. No, it wasn't that big.
Woo,
Yeah, I thought it was like 8 by 10 or something like that, but
Okay.
maybe.
yeah, so that actually is probably about the same size.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon, if you could send a shot of it, if that works, even for like maiden voyage, we could, or it could be something you and I could test out. We could go look at where we'd put it, and you could just, chin scratch and think if it's gonna work. It would save us of money. That would be great.
Sure.
Great, thank you. Thank you, guys. I forgot to do something I was supposed to do, and that was read the public comment blurb. So I'm going to do that now. Public comments. General public comment must deal with matters subject to the jurisdiction of the city and the Parks and Recreation Committee that are not on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the Parks and Recreation Committee on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. The public may comment on any other matter listed on the agenda at the time the matter is being considered. There will be a time limit of not more than 3 minutes for each speaker. No action will be taken on or matters brought up under this item, and all comments will be referred to staff. So sorry, I forgot to do that. So is there anyone from the public that would like to address the Parks and Recreation Committee at this time? Okay, well, we're still going to wait till 5:30 as we publicly put out in the announcement for the presentation. So if everybody wants to take a break until then.
What's going on at 5:30?
That's when the presentation from about the FORTAG, the design concepts.
Oh, okay.
So Chair, before we do that,
Mhm.
so it was an informal discussion, but the item that we just discussed for the movie night was an agendized item. So we should ask the public if they have any input on that item.
Okay, thank you. I'm still learning how to do all this.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I appreciate that. Does anybody have any comments on what we were discussing? Okay,
Not seeing any. Yeah.
me either. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll recess until 5:30.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 5:30. Thank you all for being here. Before we start the presentation, I'd like to go over a little bit about the structure of the meeting. After the presentation, we'll take time to hear questions and concerns. They will be, after those are all completed, we'll compile those and address those at one time. So please wait until the presentation is over. And with that being said, I'd like to introduce Lindsay Perrys and Michael Zeller from FORTAG, who will be doing our presentation. So I will pass it off to the two of you.
Great, thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Michael Zeller. I'm the Director of Programming and Project Delivery for the Transportation Agency for Monterey County. I'm joined tonight by Lindsay Van Paris, who's the project manager from the consultant team from GHD. We also have a couple other team members from GHD joining us tonight, Steve Grupico, as well as Kristen Thigpen. And then I also just wanted to acknowledge that Todd Muck, our executive director from TMC, is here today. And I'm sure you're also all aware that Mayor Kerr is the city's representative on the Transportation Agency Board of Directors. So great to see everybody tonight. Really excited to be presenting an update on FORTAG. We have some great things to share with you, and really looking forward to a robust discussion and getting some feedback from the group that we can then take away to incorporate into our overall design of the amenities for the trail. We have some interactive polls that we're going to try something new in the presentation tonight. So just to kick things off, we just have an initial poll question just to find out how familiar folks are with this segment of the Tag Trail, the Fort Ord Regional Trail and Greenway through Delray Oaks. If you're very familiar with it, you've seen all the videos of the presentations that we've done, you've attended past meetings, you've visited the website to see all the great content we have. If you're somewhat familiar, you generally know what's going on. Vaguely, you've heard about the project, but no firsthand knowledge, or this perhaps is your first time hearing about it, which is also great.
I'm going to give some time for folks to do the poll before I end it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. There we go. Mike, I don't know if you can see that, but we've got our poll results in. Great. Most everyone is very or somewhat familiar. So thank you for that. And we can move on.
That's helpful. It's good to know that our outreach is getting out. With reaching folks. So for this segment of the Fort Ord Regional Trail and Greenway project, just listed some of the project partners that we have. The Transportation Agency for Monterey County, we are the project sponsors. We included the Fort Ord Regional Trail and Greenway in our Transportation Safety Investment Plan, also known as Measure X, that was approved by the Monterey County voters in 2016. So we are the sponsors moving forward this project, particularly this segment of the project, working closely with the city of Delray Oaks, the Monterey Peninsula Regional Parks District for the access, the Americans with Disabilities Act compliant access into the Frog Pond Wetland Preserve, with the city of Monterey near the Fremont Boulevard, Canyon Delray intersection improvements, with the city of Seaside, also along the Fremont, as well as Plumas. Caltrans for the portions that run through the state right of way. And then obviously we've contracted with GHD to assist us with final design and right of way for the project. So just to start, wanted to give just an overview. Seems like most folks have probably seen this before, but the Fort Ord Regional Trail and Greenway, it's envisioned as 28 miles of regional paved multi-use trails that connects the community surrounding the former Fort Ord with education, employment, business, and recreation. And the vision behind the trail is that it's accessible. It's a trail for all users, that you could easily see a family with a stroller or somebody in a wheelchair out there using the trail, along with bicyclists and pedestrians. So it's something that is made for all members of our community to be able to get out and enjoy all the different natural spaces, open spaces that we have on the Monterey Peninsula. This 28 miles of trails, this was all, the full FORTAG project was environmentally cleared in March of 2020. So we have gone through the California Environmental Quality Act process to get the full trail certified. And now what we're moving forward with is design and construction on different independent segments of the trail as we get different grant funding. So this first segment in Delray Oaks in Seaside, running along Canyon Delray, that is funded with primarily, as I mentioned, Measure X, but a large portion of this was a $10 million state grant, state active transportation program grant that we received for this initial 1.5 mile segment to get things started. So we are fully funded on this first segment through final design right away and all the way through construction. So all the funds are ready to go. Just a close up on this first segment to refamiliarize with it. The project starts at Laguna Grande Regional Park at the intersection of Fremont and Canyon Delray. Runs along the Canyon Delray along by Safeway, and then tucks in behind Safeway to Work Memorial Park, where then it runs up along the tennis courts, past what will be the new butterfly garden. And then there's a section where there are no improvements along Angeles Way except just wayfinding signage on either side of the trail. where we will pick back up at the existing trail at Delray Park. So we'll have improvements to the existing trail. There's a new underpass at State Route 218 that leads into a switchback at the Frog Pond. So as I mentioned, that's the Americans with Disability Act accessible access into the Frog Pond Wetland Preserve. The switchback brings us back up to Carlton, where we will run up Carlton to Plumas, and then the project terminates at Delray Woods Elementary School. So that's the quick overview. I believe on the next slide, we have a video that I'm sorry. One thing that we do like to say about this is that this is more than a trail. It's an investment in the community. I mentioned that we received a $10.3 million state grant to deliver this project. But the great thing about that is that we're not just building a recreational trail. There's so many more components to this project that provides a great investment in the community for Delray Oaks. There's the safe routes to school component of this. So as I mentioned, the project will run up to Delray Woods Elementary School. We'll be providing bike racks, lighted pathways. There's educational opportunities, trash bins at key locations that we'll talk about tonight. It'll address safety issues at the Safeway driveway on southbound 218 by providing a dedicated right turn into the driveway. It provides stop signs on the trail, and it improves bike and pedestrian crossings at that driveway. It's also a new way to interact with Delray Oaks. The project will provide a safe, accessible pathway that connects 7 local parks and recreational amenities such as the Frog Pond, Work Memorial Park, the new Butterfly Garden, and the tennis courts. One of the things that we're really excited about is the facelift that we'll be providing to the tennis course. The trail will realign and reorient the existing tennis courts, and we'll be able to restripe it for pickleball courts as well. The great thing about this is that it actually saves us money. We're able to save $26,000 in construction costs, as well as preserve existing trees. Whereas if we left the tennis courts in the existing orientation, we would have to push the trail higher up onto the hill. It would have included expensive retaining walls and taking out existing trees. This way we can avoid all of that, which is great. And you get brand new tennis courts in the process. We'll also go by the trail in this location. We'll go by the new Butterfly Garden. So we'll be able to include a long-term permanent site with raised planters, stabilized surface with accessible planters, educational components, and seating areas and bike racks. As I mentioned, there's a chance to stop and enjoy the views. So not just trail areas, but we'll be constructing different parklets as well, as you'll see in the next video, particularly on State Route 218 in Carlton. We'll be taking an underused space and turning it into an area where the community can gather and enjoy being outside. And then also really important is just traffic calming along Carlton and 218, being able to make it safer, reconfiguring the roadway to slow down vehicles, add parking back on the west side of the roadway, all while adding trees and providing an entryway into the community. So with that, and now I believe that we're onto the video, and I'll hand things off to Lindsay to cover that.
Thank you, Mike. So hopefully you've seen some of this video, but if you haven't, I hope you will enjoy it. This video takes a walk through the trail and shows you some of the different features that we've been chatting about. First one, it'll take a look at SR 218 and North Fremont. And the reason why, or Canyon Del Rey, the reason why we are here tonight too is to ask for your thoughts and input on some of the amenities and the theme of the amenities that we're putting forward as part of the project. And so as you'll see, this intersection, it's really constrained and tight, but there's opportunities to provide some placemaking using decorative paving in the sidewalk area. And then as we go into the Butterfly Garden, this really provides a wonderful permanent space for all of the wonderful things that are occurring at the Butterfly Garden, including a gazebo for some shade, some bike racks. So the bike racks and all of that is what we're asking tonight. The planters and the wall texture is something that we're also going to be looking at updating and getting your input on. Now, as we jump over to State Route 218 and the undercrossing from Delray Park, you'll notice that these walls that you're going through under the underpass are blank, and those are a blank canvas. So we are looking at opportunity to add some potential artwork, whether that be through stamped concrete, murals, painting. There's really a lot of opportunity here to customize the various engineering aspects and really make it tie into the community. And then this is Carlton at 218, where Mike was talking about reactivating this space. So if you can envision where all of the sidewalk is, it's all pavement, big wide pavement. And so this is allowing us to narrow down this intersection, which will improve speeds or reduce speeds and improve safety of that crossing. And then as we head up Carlton, we'll be pushing things to the east side of the road. So taking out those parking bumpers and the green paint and really providing that class 1 space. And we worked very hard to find the balance between adding in pocket parking where we can on the west side, but also pulling the trail away from the private properties and using the landscaping there as a buffer, also maintaining all of those existing beautiful trees. So that is our video. The link is here at the bottom. I will place that in the chat once we're done with the presentation, so you can go back and look at that at your leisure. So a little bit about where we've been. Mike, did you want to jump on in and talk about some of the history and the process? This has been a long time running.
It has been. So sure, I mentioned a little bit at the outset, but the FORTAG project was first envisioned by 2 CSUMB professors, Fred Watson and Scott Waltz. They've done a tremendous job building this vision and getting out into the community to meet with folks to really bring this to reality. As I mentioned, TAMC became involved when we included the project in our Measure X and set aside $20 million in funding for the project. Just in this first segment alone, so I mean, you can see on the screen all of the outreach that has occurred since 2013, but just on this Canyon Del Rey first segment, to start things off, we really wanted to get back out to the community before we started with final design. So we've done a number of presentations to the Del Rey Oaks City Council. We've done some in-person walking tours to meet with members of the community to get their feedback. We've held virtual webinars. We've done physical mailers as well as electronic mailers. And we also had an electronic interactive website that posted a project map where folks could include comments on different aspects of the trail. So we've really tried to listen to the community throughout this process to take into account the feedback that we were hearing, and it's really helped us to design a much better project, I believe. So as I mentioned, things like the reorientation of the tennis courts, the butterfly garden amenities, the underpass, shortening the switchback and the frog pond. These are all things that came out about from community feedback, and we've been able to incorporate it. So really pleased to be able to share the visualizations that we've come up with, and take feedback tonight from folks so that we can continue on with final design and bring this to construction.
Thanks, Mike. And now where are we going? We are on the path to construction. So we are currently working on the final design, and that's where we want your input on the trail amenities. I also wanted to give a heads up that this week and in the coming weeks, you'll likely see some construction action along the trail corridor. It's just our continued investigation to help inform that final design. So we will be positively identifying where the underground utilities are. So there'll be a truck out there excavating and digging down to find the depth of those utilities. And then also we're doing some additional geotechnical investigations. So you'll see some people out there learning more about the soil. Now, FORTAG enhances the community, and we have selected a suite of themes to create a sense of place. And now, what is an amenity theme? It's really a suite of street furniture and surface finishes. Think benches, trash cans, fencing, paving materials, texture, and artwork that are placed along the trail. And how the theme will be applied is we will use a combination of need, opportunity, engineering judgment, context, and budget to put various amenities along the trail. Now, what I'm going to show you are the different themes. And so we've got the 3 themes. We have a modern, rustic, and coastal theme. And you'll see a bunch of different items on those screens or on these boards that represent what we can place. So exactly what's on there is not going to be the exact trash can that you'll see out there, but it'll be the theme and the feel. So don't get hung up on the nitty gritty if you don't like one little thing. We are going to work within the budget and within the site area that we're implementing these various amenities at to make sure that it works from an engineering, safety, ADA standpoint, all of that. So let's take a look. Before I dive into the individual themes, just an overarching look at the trail. You'll see these nodes numbered 1 through 9. The enhanced project features are highlighted in the boxes there. So we've got the Work Memorial Park Gateway. So that will be really more of a seating node and an area for people to stop and rest and look at the area. We'll have some retaining walls with benches and signs that say that say different things on there. Then we've got the butterfly garden, which is number 5. We looked at that one in our renderings and our video. And then we have our number 9, which is the Carlton Drive, Canyon Del Rey intersection with that switchback with the kind of the pocket park area where we've got trees and opportunities for people to sit and relax and enjoy the outdoors. Now, the other ones that are not highlighted are 1 through 8. We are looking at putting in different features there. So number 1 at Laguna Grande Regional Park and the Forte Gateway, that's really just going to be a wayfinding sign and an interpretive sign. So there's not much room there. It's a constrained environment. But as we get into the rest, so at 3, there's a rest area in Work Memorial Park design that's there before you start going up the hill to get up behind the tennis courts. Number 4 is the Work Memorial Park overlook. As you come out behind the tennis courts, there's just an awesome opportunity to really take in all of the wetlands, uplands, vegetation and wildlife that Work Memorial Park can provide. And so putting an out overlook there, a place again to stop and take in the beauty that this area has to offer. 6 is the entrance to Delray Park. That will be just a wayfinding sign because that's where the trail picks back up. And then 7 and 8 are opportunities to have interpretive signs. And some, as 7 you saw in the underpass rendering, we've got some opportunities to put in some bike racks as well. And potentially other amenities. So as I step through, first we have the modern theme. So these are more modern feeling textures and pavement patterns. Again, to reiterate, if this is the theme that you prefer or that you like, that doesn't mean you're going to get a retaining wall with leaves on it. It's just that look and that feel that we're going for. So it would be that more flat, classic, modern retaining wall with the potential to add in some Delray Oaks appropriate stamping and patterns along those walls. And same with the railing and the fences. It won't be this exact, it's just that look and that feel. So diving into rustic, this theme uses more natural looking materials, woods and corrugated metal, and really just provides more of a rustic natural feel. Again, the retaining walls, those material choices look a little more natural and historic. Then we've also got different mosaic options. And then the city of Newark, that is just a stamped thing on the pavement, and we are going to be stamping the FORTAG logo on the trail surface, so people, you can use that as a sense of wayfinding and know where they are and what trail they're on. And lastly, our coastal theme. Our coastal theme is really a combination of both modern and rustic. It provides a sense of being at the coast. You'll notice waves, boardwalks, sails, and on all three, you saw kind of the shade structure. We are proposing a shade structure at the Butterfly Garden. There aren't any other shade structures that are proposed along the corridor. And then the railing is needed for ADA compliance. And so anywhere where there's a drop off or a slope of a particular, a hill of a particular slope, we need to provide railing so that it's accessible to all. And now with that, I am going to enter our next interactive question. And Karen, before you put that up, but everybody, if you can move the poll question around, and I'm just going to switch to this next slide, which lays them out side by side. It's not the whole boards because you couldn't see them if I laid them out side by side, but it just gives you a rough example of what we're looking at. So put your preference and let us know what you think. And while you're putting in your preferences, I do want to say how we are going to use this is we're going to take your input and go back to the drawing board, or not back to the drawing board, but go back to our internal team and kind of look at where these implementations make sense. Where does it make sense to put in a trash can or a bike rack? And we do have a lot of those identified already, where we're going to provide benches versus seating nodes. And a seating node it will be kind of a decorative wall. So a seat block, you should say. Karen, how are the polls coming in? Oh, wonderful. So I thank you very much. I see we've got coastal and rustic. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for your input on that. Now, what to expect? Yes. Or what to expect next. We are going to use your input, and the project team will finalize the design and incorporate the amenities throughout the trail. Be on the lookout for project update mailers and e-blasts. We will be sending those out periodically to provide an update on where we are with the project, where we are in the process. I know sometimes this final engineering thing can seem long and drawn out, but I promise we are working hard in the background, navigating all of the challenges that come with putting in a new design or a new infrastructure along a built environment. And our very last question, speaking of being on the lookout, is, are you on the FORTAG email distribution list? We would like to know if you are or if you're not, just to get an understanding of that. And if you're not, please make sure you go to that website shown on the screen, and I will also copy that website and put it in the chat for everybody so it's easy to access.
We can also put this on the city website, Lindsay.
Wonderful, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
And while we're waiting for everybody to come in, go to our last slide and say thank you. And our general project website is up there as well. And we are very excited to invest in the community and see this project through to the trail opening.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you. It was a great presentation, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having
Yeah.
us.
So at this time, if anybody would like to have
Right.
a, go
Comments
ahead.
and comments
Yeah.
and questions from the committee members first.
Yes. Kyle, any comment or question?
No, none for me.
All right. Brandon, any comments or questions?
Oh, are you using this time to take input on the trail now, or is that something in the future?
Certainly, if there's any comments or feedback that you have, we'd be happy to take it. Our goal was to get particular feedback on the amenities so that we can move forward with final design tonight, but also if there's any other comments that you have, we'd certainly take
yeah.
those as well.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for your presentation and the future of Delray Oaks. I'm very excited for it. I'm so happy to see new tennis courts. I'm an avid tennis player and a tennis coach in the area. My only request would be if one of the courts could remain a tennis, the tennis lines only, and then there's always the opportunity to add pickleball lines with tape if it's not a popular thing, just because as a tennis player, it does get annoying to play on courts with pickleball lines. I know it's a popular sport, but with one pickleball court, you can fit 8 people. So, and then, people can wait or whatever. And then the aesthetics would be really cool to honor the biggest tennis tournament in California, which is the Indian Wells, and paint it with a similar color scheme they use, which would be like a more of a purple and green look. But other than that, that's my only comments, and thanks for everything. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for mentioning the color of the tennis courts. That was one thing in particular that we wanted to get some feedback on.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's great.
All right, Matthew, do you have any comments? Matthew, your mic is still not working. If you want to put it in the chat. All right, and Denise?
Oh, yeah, very excited about this. Everything looks great. And I was wondering, so it seems like, everyone wants coastal and rustic. So maybe coastal with a little more rustic in it. Yeah. Would be nice to see. And I'm really curious, the green and purple tennis court, I've never seen that before. So definitely take a look. And why actually purple and green?
I don't know. It'd be fun to have a unique, look that's different.
Okay.
But also, like I said, it's called Indian Wells Tennis Tournament.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Called the 5th Grand Slam. I was there. I just thought the color was really cool, and blue and green is what they do at the U.S. Open in New York. So it'd be cool for us to honor California and keep with the color they have in Palm Springs. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise.
Okay, thanks.
And Mayor Kerr, anything?
Yeah, I agree with Denise. I like a blend I like the coastal with a little more wood. But yeah, anytime I saw a category, I went, oh, that's it. And then the next one, no, that's it. I would like to know so I spoke with quite a few people at the Oaks this week, and they wanted to be here, but they were unable to because there's they have a monthly meeting this evening. Is there a way where they could also take a look at the 3 options and offer input? And not just them. I mean, I would, are there plans to do it a little larger than just this meeting?
Certainly, we could coordinate with Karen to post the presentation on the city's website and take some feedback. We are wanting to be able to make a decision on moving forward so that we can stick with our timeline. But I believe we can have a little bit of flexibility to open this up to take some more feedback from the community.
Okay, that would be great. And thank you for letting everybody know how to sign up for the email blasts. My only note was I want the leaves. But That's okay. I'll be happy without them. I'm excited. I'm excited about how far we've come and the adjustments, the give and take that really did go into making this. So I'm really excited. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you. And Matthew did not have a comment. He put that in the chat. And Allison took my question as far as trying to keep the poll open, maybe for a short window for people that couldn't attend this meeting. All right, so now to the general public. If you have a question or concern, Karen Harris.
Hi, Terry. And thanks for having this opportunity and having TAMC come and talk to us. We're really excited about this project, especially the butterfly garden. It's my little baby. So one of the reasons I like the rustic style was because of the mosaic of the butterfly. I thought that was really pretty. That was one of our original concepts. And I like the wood style too. Had a couple of other suggestions. I don't know if they're already in there or not. But the walkway that goes from the tunnel underpass over to the Frog Pond Park, that's that ramp. Is that wall going to have any lighting on it? I think that'd be nice to have some lighting or solar, really low voltage or something. And then the other thing is on the underpass, the stamps of native plants and animals would be really pretty and unique to our area, like just even having the frogs or coyote or the turkey or, things like that. I think that would look really cool. Anyway, thank you for allowing us to contribute.
Yeah, thank you very much for the suggestions and the feedback. That is one of the things that we were talking about for the underpass is, potentially some natural shrubs with the little frogs on them, something like that, which we will work through now that we have, or once we've got our theme kind of identified. We just want to make sure that it provides a consistent feel through that. As far as your lighting question, no, we are not proposing any lighting within the Frog Pond area. The underpass will be lit, and there will be some CCTV cameras placed on either side, placed in that area on either side to provide some surveillance opportunities for the police department. But besides that, there is no lighting on the switchbacks.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Okay, does anybody else have a comment or a question? Let's see.
I
There's
see
one
John Uwe has his hand up.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening. Yes, so I'm very excited really about this project. So thank you, everyone, for making this project as excellent as it could be. When it comes to amenities, I just have a question because I usually run or walk or ride my bicycle. Will there be drinking water fountains along the way?
That is a great question. And unfortunately, with the current water crisis, getting new water meters is not feasible. But we are working on installing a hydration station within the butterfly garden, so that way the tennis players can have that. So we're currently working with Cal-Am on that to see what the feasibility, and working with Delray Oaks to see if there's room for that in the current water allocation. But that is the only location where we're hoping to put in a hydration station.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. So at least we're gonna have one. At least I won't be worried that I'm gonna run out of water. Yes, so thank you. I have another question. How about dog bag dispensers for all of our dog walkers?
That is something that we have heard on our walks and our feedback or other feedback sessions. So that is something that we are definitely considering, particularly over kind of by Delray Woods, since there is that dog area over there. Where they get installed and how they get installed is yet to be determined, but that is on our list of amenities we'd like to add.
Yes, great, thank you. And one more question from me. I know during the construction, there's gonna be like inconveniences, and
Mhm.
what other issues are likely to arise during the construction?
Yeah, construction is always disruptive in a way. Luckily for us, where we are doing most of our construction is and new construction, where you're going to have a lot more of the heavy haulers and things like that, will be through Work Memorial Park, and that won't really impact any through traffic unless you're currently walking through that unofficial trail or using the Hall Road as a way to walk back and forth. That will likely be closed during construction. And then the biggest impact to travel will be the improvements at at Canyon Del Rey and North Fremont, and then for the underpass as well. And we are working on our construction staging and getting that approved through Caltrans, as it's their highway. So we need to make sure that we're meeting all of their requirements. We will be providing in our updates and mailers a lot more information as we get closer to construction with exactly what we are anticipating the impacts could be and might be, and we'll make sure that we've got a robust communication campaign around that to make sure that we're taking into consideration the commuters and also the community. And then when it goes to construction, Todd and Mike, can defer that to you, but we will be, the contractor will be required to have look ahead schedules, and there will be an outreach and more information as that goes, because as we all know, in things, sometimes construction doesn't go like us engineers hope it will, and we need to be flexible in that as well.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. So for as long as there's like an advance notice for our residents, where to even go to, if ever there are gonna be road blockages, and then if you're gonna be informed in advance, that would really be very helpful for all of us here residents. Yes, yeah. And also the timing as well, for how long it will gonna be like that. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome. Mike, I saw you came off mute. Did you want to add to that response?
Oh, yeah, just to elaborate a little bit, is that once we get closer to construction, the intention is that we'll pull together another stakeholder group to coordinate our public outreach and making sure that we're including different community members to help us get the word out for any construction related impacts, and certainly letting everybody know in advance and the duration of any potential impacts. We'll work really hard to make sure that we're getting the word out to the community.
Thank you.
I saw in chat from Jed. Oops, where did it go here? Sorry.
I can read it, Terry, if I've got it.
Here it is. Okay, I assume, Jed Parker, I assume the intersection of Angeles and Rosita, where the trail will traverse, will be part of the proposed final design improvements. But if not, please do consider the South neighborhood communities through this intersection and the number of oops, I just lost it. Sorry. Sorry, my computer is being a little funky right now.
That's okay. I can say it. The South neighborhood commutes through this intersection.
There we go.
And the number of interactions of pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicles is substantial. Any improvements or signage at a minimum would be appreciated.
Thank you, Mayor. All right.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. While our improvements are not going to extend to the intersection of Angeles and Rosita, the trail will terminate right as it goes down past the church, and then it'll have just wayfinding signage, and then pick up with the trail when it hits Del Rey Park.
Thank you. Are there any other hands up? Any other comments?
I see Kim Shirley
Oh, and I see.
and Scott
Thank
Morgan.
you. All right, Kim?
Yeah, thank you, Terry, and the Parks Rec for hosting this. And Lindsay and Mike, thank you so much for your presentation. This is just obviously super exciting for us. I wanted to tag back to what you were talking about in terms of communication for outreach, kind of what John Uwe was talking about in terms of residents. I think it's going to be obviously really important to also talk to residents of Seaside and Monterey. I think, you know, that intersection of Fremont and Canyon Del Rey is so busy. And I think, you know, letting people know, you know, what it's going to look like and when those changes are going to be made. You know, I just think about, you know, the bike trail down Fremont was tough to go through that construction, and people, it was hard for people to navigate sometimes. And so I want people to be really aware that intersection is going to look like, so it's a little easier for them to navigate. And same as, you know, we've got people coming in from Seaside down Carlton into 218. And so that little parklet area, they're going to be, you know, needing to know how to navigate that too. So I appreciate it sounds like you're going to be doing lots of outreach and communication. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I love the coastal design and like the curviness of it, but also some rustic nature, you know, in there too. I love the combination. I know the city's looking for something that's going to be easy to take care of. So we're going to want to keep that in mind as well. I'm just wondering, can you just give us like a very brief, big picture timeline? Like when might we expect construction?
I can do that. We, as Mike alluded, or not alluded, but said earlier, we do have federal, or we do have state only dollars. So we have a timeline in which those have to be allocated. So based on that timeline, we are looking at beginning construction in the fall of 2023.
Okay. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Scott?
Hi. This is Scott Morgan at 940 Woods Way. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Scott.
Good. I was curious, at Safeway, when the bike path is redone, is there any way we can get a dedicated turn lane out of Safeway to make a right-hand turn? Has that been thought of at all? Does that make sense at all?
Scott, can I just ask a clarification question? To a right-hand turn to get into Safeway from Canyon Del Rey, or a dedicated turn to get out of Safeway?
Get out of Safeway.
Yeah, so maybe I can help
Sorry,
you
go
out
ahead,
with
John.
this.
Yeah.
This, Lindsay, yeah, so this has been an issue for residents for a long time. We've had discussions with Safeway to try to get something like that done. It's really separate from this project, Scott, because Safeway's parking lot is a private parking lot. So we can't dictate to them how the parking lot works, but we'll certainly help the TAMSI team reach out to the Safeway management and corporate folks to get that done. They're aware that it's an issue and something that we would like to address from a safety perspective and also a convenience perspective. And this is the perfect time to do something like that when we're reworking that driveway. But I can't make promises or guarantees because, like I said, it's a private driveway.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it was just restriped some time ago. And okay, well, thank you for that. I had another question too. As you come down Angeles Way and you enter the park, what is the path going to do from the park, from the entrance to Angeles to the service road? Is there going to be a green line in the diagonal fashion? What's going to happen there?
We are not doing a green line in a diagonal fashion. We were looking at putting in sharrows, which is a silly term for a pavement marking. So it is it's essentially a bicycle with the two arrows to let cyclists and vehicles know that you need to share the road within that parking lot. And then we'll have them pick up at the existing access road.
Okay, and on the access road, how is that going to be handled? Will it be concrete, pavement? Is that still in the works?
We have it currently designed to be asphalt. So like the rest of the trail, so it'll be an asphalt surface with stabilized shoulders. So there'll be either asphalt shoulders or stabilized shoulders, depending on where along the trail that you'll be.
Okay.
All right, and I'm sorry, Scott, do you have one more question? I want to move on to our next person.
I'm good at this time. Thank you for hearing me.
Okay, thank you. Kevin?
Thanks, Terry, and thanks everyone for your presentation. Question about timelines at the level of the various partner agencies like Delray Oaks or the Park District. When will the supplemental process be given to those boards for voting? Could you explain a little bit more about how that's going to work and what the timeline for that is expected to be at this point?
Certainly, I can take that one. So just in terms of initial next steps, I believe we're coordinating with City Manager Girton to come back and do another presentation to the Delray Oaks Council later this month. We'll also be presenting to the Parks District in the beginning of October. And those are some opportunities where we can talk a little bit more about the timeline for coming back with the supplemental. We have preparing a draft of the supplemental currently that we can circulate with each of the jurisdictions to review. The idea, just to take another step back of the supplemental, is that each of the jurisdictions, underlying jurisdictions of the trail, have entered into what we called a master agreement, essentially agreeing to support the trail as TAMC moves forward, help us to secure grant funds, and in general accept the environmental document as well as the mitigations that are contained therein, as well as the general alignment for the project. The supplemental agreement is where we will come back with once we're closer to being at 100% final design with the alignment as it's set, the amenities that we mentioned, the maintenance responsibilities, as well as the different mitigation requirements that the city or the Parks District would need to accept, and that would get all outlined in the supplemental agreement. So that would take place as we make some of these final decisions and then bring it back to the council for consideration. The timing of that, generally, Lindsay, I believe, would be about the beginning of next year. I believe we'll have some of those decisions finalized where we can bring back that agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Mike Douglas?
Thank you. First off, I'm a huge supporter. I think this is a wonderful project, and as a runner and bicyclist, I really look forward to getting on the trail. So thank you all for your dedicated efforts in making this thing happen. My question deals a little bit with security and policing. So perhaps City Manager Girton, if you can comment. My question really is, what is the we've talked before a little bit on policing on bicycles or e-bikes. Does this going to drive an impact to the number of policemen that we have, or the other policing activities that they do? And then how is it coordinated with the other cities as our trail goes into Seaside and et cetera?
Yeah, so as far as policing goes, no, there's no impact to our number of police or even how much patrol we do, or we're not anticipating any increase in anything that would impact our policing. We already patrol all the areas that the trail is going to go through. So it's not anything new. In fact, the trail will actually enhance our ability to patrol in those areas. We have, the police have an electronic vehicle. It's a 4-wheel vehicle that'll go well on the trail. We're looking at getting some e-bikes actually for the police so that they can patrol the whole city, but also the trail. So that's from a policing standpoint, we're not anticipating any increase in calls for service or demand or anything. With regard to working, for the e-bike situation, that's something that cities all around the country are having to tackle as we deal with that. And what's appropriate use of trails with an e-bike, especially when you have bikes that go upwards of 30, 35 miles an hour. And I don't have an answer for that. So that's something obviously TAMC, I'm sure, is well aware of, and we'll be working with all of our partner agencies going forward on what kind of impacts are we all seeing, what kind of mitigation efforts can we make. The engineers are all looking at that type of stuff when they're designing these types of facilities. So I don't know, Lindsay, if you want to talk a little bit to that, but we work really well with our partner cities, with Seaside and Monterey, and with TAMC and the county and the region. So how we connect this and how we police it together, it will be an ongoing discussion, but we have a really good group of partner agencies here, and we all work really well together.
Yeah. Thanks, John. I think that was great. And to add to the just the e-bike comment, per the environmental document, e-bikes are not accommodated on the trail. So how that gets enforced or policed is still up for discussion, and how we work through that. Some of the other cities across the state have put in either signage or put in a code in the city code on e-bikes not being allowed on either certain trails or a specific trail. So there's a lot of ways that this issue is being handled, but it is a national challenge, e-bikes and e-scooters, and providing them access and opportunities without jeopardizing the safety of the whole trail. And we are installing CCTV cameras, as I mentioned, at the undercrossing, but we're also looking to do so at the Butterfly Garden, kind of looking towards the tennis courts into or towards the park there, because that's just a little narrow corridor. I'm making sure that we're keeping everything safe. So that'll also help with Delray Oaks being able to monitor and respond as needed.
All right. Does anybody else have any final comments or concerns? Matthew, I saw your hand up before, but it's not now. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Okay. All right.
Not seeing anything else either, Terry.
Yeah. Okay.
And Matthew said no in the chat.
Yeah, I just saw that. All right. Well, thank you so much for the presentation. It just makes it even more real and more exciting that this is happening. So thank you for that. And thank you everybody for joining. And you're welcome to come to our Parks and Rec every month if you would like.
Well, thank you. I want to go to the movie night.
Come on by. Ghostbusters. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.